Have you noticed how most people run from pain as if it were life's worst enemy? The shocking and somewhat counterintuitive truth is that pain isn't something to avoid, but something to master. Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus showed us centuries ago that the way we face each suffering determines whether we grow or break. Imagine getting through tough moments with calm, turning frustrations into strength, and on top of that, strengthening your mental discipline every single day. Sounds impossible? In reality, it's simple when you apply the principles of Stoicism in practice. What you experience as suffering today can become your greatest ally tomorrow. Stoic lessons reveal that pain is a silent test of your character, and those who learn to respond with self-control and resilience consistently develop virtue. Epictetus said, "It isn't the events that disturb us, but the way we perceive them." By mastering this perspective, you discover an inner freedom that few truly know, the ability to face any adversity without being controlled by it. If you're tired of feeling like a prisoner of circumstances, now is the time to change. It's not about eliminating pain, that's impossible, but learning to handle it with stoic wisdom. Imagine that in a few weeks, you could look at situations that once caused fear or frustration and realize they no longer have power over you. This isn't theory, it's practice, it's applied philosophy of life. The transformation is real, and it starts now with every small step you choose to take toward mental discipline and serenity. Have you ever stopped to think about how pain, in any of its forms, seems to arrive without warning, ready to shake everything you've built? That's the reality for all of us, and this is precisely where Stoicism steps in as a true manual for survival of the mind and heart. Stoic philosophy teaches us that pain is not something to fear, but an opportunity for growth, a tool that can refine our virtue and strengthen our self-mastery. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The life of each person is in their own hands," and this Stoic wisdom could not be more relevant when facing difficulties. It's fascinating how ancient Stoic thoughts still resonate in our modern lives, almost as if we were reading the diary of someone who has already lived our pains. The first thing Stoic philosophy shows us is that we don't control everything, but we can control our reactions. Seneca, with his contagious serenity, emphasized that self-control is the key to maintaining a calm mind, even when everything seems to collapse. This means that pain, no matter how intense, doesn't have to dominate us. It can teach us. Epictetus adds that mental discipline is a daily choice, something we can train like a muscle. Consider this. If you start seeing pain not as an enemy but as a teacher, the way you face any challenge changes drastically, and this is practical philosophy in action. Imagine waking up one day and realizing the world is exactly as it was yesterday, yet you feel stronger, calmer, even with the same problems. This is the magic of Stoicism in practice. You don't change the facts, but you transform the way they affect your spirit. Stoic lessons like this show us that resilience is built through small daily acts of self-control and reflection. And don't think this is abstract or out of reach. It is real, applicable, and accessible to anyone who wants to live better. With every Stoic thought integrated, you move closer to a fuller, more disciplined life, less enslaved by circumstances. And make no mistake, adopting a Stoic philosophy doesn't mean being cold or indifferent to pain. Quite the opposite. It means acknowledging it, analyzing it, and responding with wisdom without losing serenity. It's learning to laugh at small adversities, face major challenges head-on, and above all, not let suffering consume you. Marcus Aurelius knew this, and his Stoic sayings are a constant reminder that true power lies in the mind, in the ability to remain calm and focused even when everything around seems chaotic. Interestingly, Stoic philosophy puts us in the position of our own mentor. Each difficulty becomes a laboratory to test our mental discipline, emotional control, and ability to act with virtue. Imagine facing a financial or personal loss and being able to observe the situation clearly, extracting valuable lessons without being carried away by despair. This is self-mastery in action, and it is these moments that transform ordinary people into individuals capable of maintaining serenity through any storm. Moreover, there is something liberating about realizing that pain is not a sentence, but an opportunity. Stoic sayings, for instance, remind us that every obstacle is temporary and every challenge is a chance to improve our philosophy of life. It's as if we are receiving ancient instructions, yet surprisingly modern, on how to live better, becoming more aware of our thoughts, emotions, and choices. Epictetus, always direct and clear, teaches us that the power lies in perception and reaction, not in the event itself. And here is the beauty: Stoic philosophy doesn't require perfection. It asks for discipline, patience, and continuous practice. One day you find yourself laughing at a problem that once seemed impossible. Another day you can face a painful situation with greater calm and clarity. Each small victory strengthens your resilience. Each reflection on Stoic lessons fortifies your mind, and every integrated Stoic thought becomes a silent shield against suffering. It's a gradual but transformative process. Finally, as we embark on this journey through Stoicism, we realize that pain ceases to be just an obstacle and becomes a guide that teaches us to develop virtue, cultivate serenity, and practice self-control in situations that once dominated us. By applying this practical philosophy, we begin to understand that we don't need to flee discomfort. We can face it head-on, learn from it, and emerge stronger. And it is precisely from this understanding that the next step naturally arises: seeing pain through the Stoic perspective, which is the next stage of this transformative journey. Pain, when seen through the lens of Stoicism, stops being a simple obstacle and becomes an opportunity to exercise self-control and mental discipline. Marcus Aurelius reminded us that everything that happens to us is beyond our control, but our response to it is entirely ours. It is in this space that the true strength of Stoic philosophy reveals itself, the ability to maintain serenity even when the body or mind screams. Every discomfort, every difficulty is an invitation to apply Stoic thoughts and transform suffering into growth. It is not about denying pain, but understanding it, observing it with clarity, and responding with virtue while cultivating resilience. Seneca, in his letters, teaches that suffering is part of existence, like rain for the earth, and that resisting pain without learning from it is wasting a valuable lesson. Stoic philosophy guides us to approach challenges with almost surgical precision, separating what we can change from what is beyond our reach. This discernment is the foundation of self-mastery, as it allows us to focus only on what truly depends on us. It's as if pain is a rigorous but fair teacher, showing us where our mind still needs training and strengthening. When it comes to physical pain, Stoicism invites us to observe without drama, recognizing that it is temporary and that our mind has the power to reduce its impact. Epictetus, who endured extreme hardships, made it clear that suffering doesn't have to destroy us when we cultivate mental discipline and emotional control. This means that when facing everyday pains, from small frustrations to major losses, we can apply Stoic teachings and respond with serenity, learning to navigate discomfort without being dominated by it. Emotional or psychological pain, on the other hand, is often more treacherous because it involves internal perceptions and judgments. Stoic wisdom shows us that much of emotional suffering comes from mistaken or exaggerated interpretations of external events. Stoic thoughts teach that by examining the situation clearly, questioning our own beliefs, and separating facts from emotions, we can reduce the impact of pain. The practice of daily reflection on Stoic lessons is a powerful exercise, as it strengthens resilience and teaches us to remain calm even in inner storms. Stoicism in practice suggests that every challenge is an opportunity to strengthen virtue and self-control. For example, facing criticism or rejection with serenity, rather than anger or despair, is applying philosophy of life in action. Marcus Aurelius and Seneca remind us that we cannot control others, but we can control our reactions. This distinction is fundamental. While the external world is unpredictable, our inner world can be shaped with mental discipline and Stoic thoughts. With every conscious choice, we build a more resilient mind and a more balanced life. Another dimension of pain, often overlooked, is its role as a growth indicator. When we feel discomfort, it signals that we are leaving our comfort zone, testing limits, and challenging our beliefs. Stoic philosophy teaches us to see these moments as opportunities to develop virtue, patience, and self-control. For instance, facing pressure at work or in relationships without losing composure is a practical application of Stoic lessons that gradually transforms us, strengthening mental discipline and expanding our capacity to face future adversities. And we must not forget that pain, through the Stoic perspective, is a constant reminder that life is fleeting and that every moment should be valued. Epictetus emphasizes that awareness of mortality and inevitable difficulties helps us prioritize what truly matters, cultivating serenity and Stoic wisdom. Thus, every challenge, every suffering, becomes an opportunity to align our actions with our values, develop self-control, and live according to the philosophy of life we seek, making us increasingly capable of applying Stoicism in practice. Finally, understanding pain according to Stoicism is accepting that it exists, but refusing to let it define us. It is an external phenomenon that we can analyze, learn from, and overcome with mental discipline and virtue. Every moment of suffering becomes a Stoic lesson. Every challenge strengthens resilience, and every reflection on Stoic thoughts brings us closer to a more serene life. Once we realize this, the next step becomes natural, learning to control our perceptions, shaping the way we feel and react to pain. In Stoicism, the great insight is realizing that we are not victims of events, but of the interpretations we make of them. Marcus Aurelius constantly reminds us that life is not what happens, but how we react to what happens. This means that when facing physical or emotional pain, the difference between suffering and facing it with serenity lies entirely in the mind. Seneca reinforces this idea: whoever masters their perceptions masters their own life. Stoic thought suggests that all suffering is born from resisting what is inevitable and from a lack of self-mastery. When we adjust our perspective, every difficulty stops being a threat and becomes an opportunity for growth and self-control. Imagine, for example, receiving harsh criticism at work. The immediate reaction for most people is to feel offended, wronged, or even defeated. Stoic philosophy teaches us that we can pause, observe the criticism neutrally, separate fact from opinion, and use whatever is useful to grow. Epictetus said, "It's not things that disturb us, but the view we take of them." Applying this lesson in practice means training the mind daily, recognizing automatic judgments and adjusting our perceptions with mental discipline and Stoic reflection. Every step in that direction strengthens resilience and the ability to face challenges without losing calm. Emotional control is one of the most powerful tools Stoicism offers. It's not about suppressing feelings, but about learning not to be dominated by them. Marcus Aurelius and Seneca suggested daily reflection and meditation exercises, where you observe each emotion as it arises and ask yourself, is this under my control? Does this bring me closer to virtue? When the answer is no, Stoic practice invites us to let go. This simple yet profound exercise strengthens mental discipline and turns each moment of pain into an opportunity to apply Stoic wisdom, maintaining serenity amid chaos. It's interesting to note that controlling perceptions isn't just about big challenges, but also about small daily frustrations, traffic, delays, trivial arguments. By applying Stoic philosophy, every situation becomes a lesson in self-control. Asking yourself, will this matter a week from now? Or is this under my control? Is a practical way to cultivate resilience. Each conscious choice strengthens the mind, making it less vulnerable to stress and emotional pain. This is practical philosophy in action, and that's how Stoicism turns ordinary lives into extraordinary ones. Another key point is understanding that our thoughts shape our experience. Epictetus emphasized that we cannot change the external world, but we can shape our interpretation of it. Every painful situation is therefore an opportunity to train the mind, turn suffering into learning, and exercise virtue. A practical example is daily visualization, imagining possible obstacles and deciding in advance how to respond with serenity and self-control. This exercise builds mental discipline, prepares you for real adversity, and brings you closer to a calmer, more stoic life. Stoicism also reminds us that our perceptions are not always accurate. We often interpret events in distorted or exaggerated ways. Seneca suggested the practice of self-questioning. Before reacting, ask yourself, is this really bad, or am I just reacting emotionally? This technique helps to disarm emotional pain before it takes hold. Each daily reflection on Stoic principles builds resilience, provides tools to face future challenges, and teaches us how to live better by turning mental discipline into a lifelong habit. When we begin to master our perceptions, we realize something powerful. Pain loses its strength and life gains clarity. Marcus Aurelius emphasized that freedom lies in self-mastery, not in the absence of problems. Every difficult situation becomes a laboratory for practicing philosophy. Every frustration becomes a test of self-discipline, and every Stoic insight strengthens our ability to remain calm. That yes, when we understand that we don't need to control everything around us, the most important control is over our interpretations and responses to pain. Finally, control over perception is the foundation for progressing in any Stoic journey. By realizing that every emotion and every reaction is our responsibility, we open the way to applying acceptance and resilience consciously. When the mind learns to interpret pain without being dominated by it, the next step comes naturally: to accept pain without resistance, allowing it to teach and strengthen us instead of destroying us. Stoic philosophy teaches that accepting reality as it is not a sign of weakness, but of wisdom. Marcus Aurelius reminds us that resisting the inevitable wastes energy and prolongs suffering. Acceptance doesn't mean resignation. It means understanding that certain things are beyond our control while exercising the mental discipline to handle them in the best way possible. This is where resilience arises, not as something innate, but as the result of daily mental training and the practice of Stoic principles. Every hardship, no matter how painful, becomes an opportunity for growth, a chance to strengthen virtue and self-control. Seneca, with his sharp insight, compared life to the forging of iron. The more heat, the more resistance and solidity are required. Every adversity, therefore, becomes a chance to strengthen resilience. A practical example is facing an unexpected event at work or a family conflict with serenity. Instead of reacting with anger or frustration, Stoic philosophy invites us to observe, reflect, and act in alignment with our principles. This daily practice of acceptance and mental discipline builds a stronger mind, capable of navigating any storm without losing itself. Acceptance is not passivity, it's intelligent and focused action. Epictetus taught that true freedom lies in not being enslaved by external circumstances. This means that pain, however intense, only has power if we allow it. Stoic philosophy proposes a daily exercise. Observe each challenge, ask if it's under your control, and decide how to respond with virtue. Over time, this practice transforms how we face life, cultivating serenity and resilience even in the most adverse situations. Resilience, according to Stoic wisdom, is also built through small daily actions. Something as simple as staying calm in heavy traffic, handling criticism with patience, or adjusting expectations amid frustration is, in fact, constant training in self-control and mental discipline. Every moment of acceptance strengthens the mind and brings us closer to practical philosophy, where pain ceases to be a villain and becomes a teacher. Stoic principles applied to daily life create habits that make us emotionally stronger and better prepared for greater challenges. Accepting pain also means understanding that suffering has an expiration date. Nothing is eternal. Marcus Aurelius reminded us that impermanence is the only constant, and Stoic philosophy teaches us to look at each difficulty with perspective. Every obstacle, every loss, every frustration can be analyzed, learned from, and overcome. It's as if we're constantly sculpting our own minds, shaping mental discipline, self-mastery, and virtue. Resilience manifests not only in our immediate reaction to pain, but in our ability to recover, reflect, and act more wisely next time. A key principle of Stoicism is distinguishing between what we can control and what we cannot. Acceptance is the key to handling what doesn't depend on us, while virtuous, conscious action should focus on what we can influence. Epictetus illustrates this practically. If someone offends you, you can't control their action, but you can control your reaction. This understanding is transformative as it shifts energy from frustration to the development of mental discipline, serenity, and resilience, allowing pain to be faced with balance and Stoic wisdom. Acceptance is not conformism. It's adjusting your perspective to extract learning from every situation. Stoic reflection encourages us to ask, what can I learn from this? How can I grow stronger? This daily practice strengthens the mind, makes us less vulnerable to life's storms and more aware of our actions. Every moment of acceptance is, in truth, a step toward true emotional freedom, where suffering becomes opportunity and every Stoic lesson reinforces our self-mastery and virtue. Finally, acceptance and resilience prepare us to recognize that pain is not a relentless enemy, but a silent guide. Every obstacle faced with mental discipline and emotional control strengthens our practical philosophy, making it possible to face future challenges with serenity and Stoic wisdom. This understanding opens the path to the next step, seeing pain as a test of character, where every adversity becomes a laboratory for cultivating virtue, resilience, and self-control. In Stoicism, pain is not just a challenge to overcome, but a direct test of our character and virtue. Marcus Aurelius reminds us that every adversity is an opportunity to practice self-control, mental discipline, and Stoic wisdom. It's precisely in moments of discomfort or suffering that we discover who we truly are. Every pain faced with calm strengthens our philosophy of life, and every impulsive reaction reveals areas where we still need to grow. Stoic philosophy teaches us that character is forged in difficult situations, not in easy ones. Seneca emphasizes that suffering is an invisible training ground where the mind learns to distinguish what is essential from what is unnecessary. When we're challenged, pain becomes an opportunity for reflection. Are we reacting with virtue, or are we being ruled by fleeting emotions? Stoic thinking invites us to turn every adversity into a laboratory of self-mastery, analyzing each reaction and adjusting our attitudes. Pain then stops being an enemy and becomes a silent teacher, strengthening our resilience and mental discipline. Epictetus goes even further, stating that it's not events that define us, but our responses to them. A financial setback, an unexpected criticism, a personal disappointment, each situation tests our self-control. By applying Stoic philosophy in practice, we learn to react with calm and clarity without being dragged by despair or anger. Each time we remain serene in the face of a challenge, we strengthen our mind and expand our ability to face future pains with Stoic wisdom and virtue. Seeing pain as a test of character also teaches us patience with ourselves. It's not realistic to expect immediate perfection. Stoicism shows that progress is gradual, built through small acts of mental discipline and daily reflection. For example, someone can train patience by staying silent in the face of provocation or reflecting on criticism before responding. Every small victory like this strengthens Stoic thinking and reinforces a philosophy of life that helps us live better, developing resilience and self-control in every aspect of life. When we face pain as a test of character, we learn to value every experience, even the negative ones. Marcus Aurelius saw adversity as an opportunity for growth, and Stoic wisdom teaches us to extract valuable lessons from every situation. Each challenge becomes a mirror, reflecting our strengths and weaknesses. By observing how we react, we can adjust our behavior and cultivate virtue in practical ways, developing mental discipline and emotional control. This constant practice of reflection turns pain into a powerful tool for personal growth. Stoic philosophy helps us understand that pain is not punishment, but a means to strengthen our character. Epictetus suggests that every obstacle tests our discipline, and the more conscious we become, the wiser we get. Applying this in daily life means facing setbacks with calm, analyzing mistakes without self-blame, and learning to react with self-control. Each challenge faced with this mindset strengthens our resilience and brings us closer to a life aligned with practical philosophy and the teachings of Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and other Stoic thinkers. One fascinating aspect of this concept is that it turns pain into an opportunity for self-knowledge. Every impulsive reaction, every feeling of frustration or fear, reveals areas of the mind that need attention. Through reflection based on Stoic lessons, we can train mental discipline, improve emotional control, and strengthen virtue. In this sense, pain is a continuous test that allows us to evolve, develop resilience, and build a life philosophy capable of withstanding any adversity. Finally, seeing pain as a test of character prepares us to recognize that every difficulty carries a hidden lesson. Each challenge, no matter how small, is an opportunity to practice self-mastery, apply Stoic thinking, and strengthen mental discipline. By understanding this, we open space for daily practice, applying exercises and habits that help us face pain actively, paving the way for the next step. Practicing Stoicism daily to face pain and turn every challenge into continuous growth. Stoic philosophy is not just theory, it's practice, something to be applied daily to strengthen mental discipline and self-control. Marcus Aurelius, through his almost diary-like writings, shows us that small daily actions build resilience and serenity. Starting the day by reflecting on possible challenges and how to react to them is a powerful Stoic exercise. For example, when you wake up, you can spend 5 minutes visualizing situations that may cause pain or discomfort and decide mentally how to face them with virtue. This prepares the mind, reduces emotional impact, and strengthens Stoic thinking. Epictetus suggests self-questioning exercises, inviting us to analyze every emotion that arises throughout the day. Simple questions like, is this under my control, or does this reaction bring me closer to virtue, help identify harmful behavior patterns. Each daily reflection is a step toward developing self-control and resilience. Over time, these practices become automatic, turning moments of pain into opportunities to train mental discipline and apply Stoic wisdom in every area of life. Daily practice is truly the foundation of Stoicism in action. Another powerful practice is keeping a Stoic journal inspired by Marcus Aurelius. Setting aside a few minutes to write down thoughts, challenges, and reactions helps organize the mind and identify areas needing attention. By recording painful experiences and how you reacted to them, you can spot patterns, reflect on Stoic lessons, and adjust behavior. This practice promotes self-control and strengthens your philosophy of life, building habits that increase serenity and resilience in the face of adversity. Daily visualization is also highly effective. Before facing challenges, imagine yourself dealing with them calmly, with discipline and virtue. Seneca compared this to training the spirit before battle. The more you mentally rehearse a virtuous response to pain, the more natural it becomes in practice. This not only reduces the emotional impact of unexpected events, but also trains the mind to react according to Stoic philosophy, cultivating Stoic thinking and self-mastery, even in moments of great discomfort. The practice of gratitude is another valuable Stoic tool. By recognizing small good things each day, even during pain, we strengthen resilience and mental discipline. Marcus Aurelius emphasized that perception is everything. If we focus on what's negative, pain increases. If we recognize what's positive, we cultivate serenity and balance. A simple habit, like writing down 3 good things at the end of the day, is a way to apply practical philosophy and keep Stoic thoughts active even in adversity. Emotional control can also be trained through conscious pauses. When you feel pain or frustration, take a deep breath, observe the situation, and analyze before reacting. Epictetus advised this detachment from immediate emotion to assess situations rationally. This practice strengthens self-control and mental discipline, making it easier to apply Stoic philosophy in practice. Over time, each challenge becomes an opportunity for resilience, and each balanced reaction reinforces virtue and serenity. Another useful exercise is nightly reflection. Before going to bed, review your day and ask yourself, where did I fail to apply Stoic thinking? Where was I disciplined and calm? This review strengthens awareness, helps internalize Stoic lessons, and prepares the mind to face the next day with more self-mastery. Marcus Aurelius practiced similar reflections, reinforcing the idea that constant practice is essential to cultivating a life philosophy based on virtue and emotional control. Finally, applying Stoic practices daily transforms the way we deal with pain. Small habits like journaling, visualization, gratitude, and conscious pauses strengthen mental discipline, self-mastery, and resilience. Every challenge becomes a chance to apply practical philosophy, reinforce Stoic thinking, and cultivate virtue. This routine prepares the mind to see pain not as an enemy, but as a silent teacher, opening the way for the conclusion of this journey and encouraging the active application of everything learned. Throughout this journey through Stoicism, it becomes clear that facing pain is not just about enduring suffering, but transforming every challenge into an opportunity for growth. Marcus Aurelius reminds us that every difficult moment is a chance to exercise mental discipline, self-control, and virtue. Stoic philosophy teaches us to face adversity with calm, apply Stoic thinking, and cultivate resilience daily. That's how pain stops being an enemy and becomes a silent teacher, guiding our growth and strengthening our philosophy of life. Seneca reinforces that pain is temporary, but the wisdom gained from facing it remains. Every small victory in the practice of Stoicism is a step toward a more balanced and fulfilling life. Practical philosophy teaches us that we can choose how to react to events, focusing our energy on what we can control. Applying Stoic lessons daily transforms the mind, strengthens self-control, and helps maintain serenity in the face of any challenge. Each Stoic thought embraced becomes a shield that protects us from life's storms. Epictetus reminds us that true freedom lies in self-mastery. When we understand that pain doesn't define us but reveals our character, we can respond with Stoic wisdom and self-control. Every challenge faced with mental discipline becomes a test to strengthen virtue and resilience. Constant practice allows us to internalize Stoic thoughts, recognize hidden opportunities in every difficulty, and learn how to live better. This daily transformation is what makes Stoic philosophy so powerful and applicable in real life. Simple practices such as meditation, journaling, visualization, and gratitude are Stoic tools that make this philosophy tangible. By applying them, every moment of pain becomes an opportunity to cultivate self-control, mental discipline, and resilience. Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus show us that we don't need to eliminate pain, but learn how to respond to it with virtue. Every daily exercise strengthens the mind, increases serenity, and allows us to face challenges with clarity, using every situation as a chance to grow and deepen Stoic thinking. Now, imagine being able to face every difficulty with the confidence of someone who has mastery over their own mind. Stoic thoughts applied daily make this possible. Every conscious reaction, every small act of self-control, every reflection on Stoic lessons builds a more balanced and serene life. Pain stops being frightening because we learn to control it through mental discipline and practical philosophy. As you follow this journey, you realize that living better isn't a distant ideal, but a daily practice rooted in virtue and self-mastery. This transformation also comes from constant engagement. Reflect on your own experiences. Have you been responding to pain with calm or letting discomfort control you? Applying the teachings of Stoicism is an invitation to challenge yourself, practice mental discipline, and internalize Stoic thinking that strengthens resilience. Every conscious choice to face pain with virtue strengthens not only your mind, but also your understanding of life as a continuous field of learning. If you connect with this journey and want to grow further, it's time to apply what you've learned. Reflect on which Stoic practices you can adopt today. Journaling, meditating, visualizing challenges, or simply observing your reactions before acting. Every small step strengthens self-control, resilience, and mental discipline. Ask yourself, am I living according to my philosophy of life? Am I applying Stoic thinking to face pain consciously? The answers to these questions shape the transformation you're looking for. And of course, to keep learning and strengthening your journey, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. Here you'll learn how to apply Stoicism in practice, discover valuable Stoic lessons, and develop the mental discipline needed to face any challenge. Every video is an opportunity for growth, every reflection a chance to apply philosophy in life, and every daily practice a step toward living better. So, are you ready to apply all this and transform your relationship with pain once and for all? Now that you've completed this journey through Stoicism, it's time to put everything you've learned into practice. Think about it. Are you reacting to pain the same way as before, or are you ready to take control of your emotions and mental discipline? Every challenge that arises is a chance to test your self-control and strengthen your resilience. The question is, will you keep letting pain dictate your choices, or will you use Stoic lessons to turn suffering into real growth? Marcus Aurelius reminds us that life is too short to live as a prisoner of circumstances. Seneca reinforces that every moment is a chance to apply virtue and philosophy in action. And Epictetus teaches us that true freedom lies in mastering our perceptions and reactions. So, why not start today? Try a Stoic practice. Write in your journal. Visualize future challenges. Reflect on your emotions. Or simply breathe and observe your reactions before you act. Are you ready to test your mental discipline and self-control? Imagine facing every painful situation with serenity, turning frustrations into growth, and strengthening Stoic thinking every day. Every step you take applying this practical philosophy is a victory, and every reflection on Stoic lessons is a building block for a calmer, more virtuous life. So I ask again, will you keep letting pain control you, or will you become its master? And to keep growing, reflecting and applying Stoic philosophy, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. Here you'll find Stoic lessons, daily practices, self-control strategies, and mental discipline tips that will transform your relationship with pain and with life. Every video is a step toward living better, developing resilience, and strengthening virtue consistently. Don't wait until tomorrow to apply what you can start today. Every reflection, every exercise, and every Stoic practice you apply is progress toward facing challenges with clarity and serenity. So tell me, which Stoic practice will you apply today to master your pain and strengthen your mind? Share your experiences and insights in the comments. Learning multiplies when shared. Remember, pain will always exist, but how you respond to it is your choice. Stoic philosophy offers tools to turn suffering into opportunity, frustration into virtue, and challenge into growth. Every moment of mental discipline, every reflection on Stoic thoughts, and every act of self-control is a direct investment in your resilience and serenity. Now it's your turn to act. Start small. Apply Stoic lessons daily and watch how your mind changes, how your life changes, and how pain stops being an enemy to become a teacher. Every conscious step strengthens your philosophy of life, your self-control, and your ability to live better. And don't forget, real transformation happens in practice, not in theory. So, subscribe, turn on notifications, and join this journey. Share your experiences, apply Stoic practices, and notice the difference in how you face pain every day. The final question is simple yet powerful. Will you keep letting pain control you? Or will you take command of your mind and your life? Starting now.